Jessi, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
So good to have
Mikelle.
you. And
Scott.
Justin.
Great.
No worries. Nice to see you again. Jessi from Hawkins. Justin from Discount.
Awesome.
Mikelle from Discount.
Awesome. Hey, we're really glad to see what has already happened. Obviously, there's already been a lot of preliminary negotiations that have went into this beforehand. So we're excited to meet with you guys, and we know that we're going to be able to reach something that's going to benefit both of us today. And I'd just like to kick it off just knowing sort of a little bit of the reason that you guys want to be in the Boston area, maybe from your perspective, and what you have to gain from putting your store here.
Yeah, so pretty much we're just looking to expand. Our chain is doing really well. And it seems like Boston area has the data to support us in our revenue growth. And so that's pretty much it. Just looking for this mall as an opportunity to just grow our stores.
Yeah. Your guys' location is perfect. I mean, right off the highway. We'll get plenty of foot traffic. So it's definitely a really great option for us.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, just to being off of that, that's exactly what we're looking for in you guys. Not only the reviews that I've seen from my own research, but also from talking to other buddies that are also in property development, have said the same thing. You guys do a fantastic job of staying current with the times, staying up with where you need to be so that foot traffic is constant. And when there's an issue, you guys are up on making sure that gets fixed so that you can be where you need to be, so that the customers are in there, they're looking, they're interested. So
and also I just wanted to say that I've really enjoyed our relationship so far. As long as we can get past this little impasse here, I'd love to work with you even further and build a long-term relationship. So I first wanted to hear from you. Like, I know what you're wanting out of the contract, but I kind of want to know a little bit more of why, and see if we can figure those things out. Sure. Okay.
Absolutely. So, I mean, as you guys know, typically and obviously you guys have a lot of other locations, typically are you guys the first one that goes in, or are you guys typically a store that is later on after the development has happened?
It depends.
Yeah, we're usually the anchor store. So it kind of just depends on when the malls open up, but it's been both ways.
Okay, awesome. So, yeah, I mean, a big part of being able to do this development is finding a key anchor store that other satellite companies are going to feel comfortable knowing that you guys are going to bring in a good amount of customer foot traffic through. So that's a big deal for us. But as far as the impasse goes, it's difficult for us to be able to get the financing while the impasse while that clause is still the way that it is. So that will have to be adjusted a little bit so that we can reach financing. Otherwise, there's going to be no financing. We won't have a place to put you guys, and you guys won't have a place to be in Boston. Obviously, like I said, this is a great location, and we're excited about it too. We believe there's a lot of growth that's happening. So that's a big deal for us, is being able to achieve financing and having a good store that we can rely on, not just for 10 or 15 years, but for as long as we can have you guys.
So I appreciate what you said, but I just don't understand. With the way that we wrote the clause, what is it about that wouldn't help you to reach financing?
Right. I mean, as you can imagine, going back to kind of the other partners in the Hawkins firm and saying, hey, we've got somebody in as the anchor or corner store, and they're super excited about it, and then we let them know, but they have complete control over whether this thing turns into a land dump or a zoo in the next 2 months, or even the next 5 years. That's totally up to them. Obviously for them, and as well as the financing firm, they have some reservations about that. As far as, just being able to know who's going to be here, who's going to be running this spot. And so specifically with that, I mean, if you guys are subletting, we understand that sometimes you may pick someone to be in there with you. We're totally okay with that. We just like to have kind of a heads up, as well as just sort of previous negotiations before those happen. So it's not that people are just showing up. Obviously, you guys are really responsible as far as it goes with handling other tenants. So yeah, just with the subletting and then, is that another word? Assign, yeah. So, and then with the assigning as well.
Well, and I'd love to have that conversation beforehand, if we were to sublet. I think that's very appropriate, given that it's your guys' space as well as much as ours. If you're open to us still having subletting, I'd love to have that conversation with you guys before we just let in the zoo.
Right.
Not planning on it, but just so we can have, okay, yeah, we're comfortable with that for sure, and we'll give you our reasons as to why they would do really well, why they might complement us, complement the rest of the mall, and be an improvement or a benefit to foot traffic as well. I don't think we're very interested in assigning at all.
Right.
Unless you guys are, I don't think we don't want us to assign any space. We'd probably be more interested in the subleasing. If we want to, that's just because we want that flexibility.
It's more of just a safety for us.
It is,
right.
And like you said before, we have been very good with keeping up with the times, and that subleasing is a part of how we keep up with the times. With that innovation, that we try to keep the foot traffic coming into the store. Like the random jewelry store you might bring in, or something like that. What do you feel? How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I feel totally comfortable with that. If you guys are okay, just putting a clause in there saying, before we sublet to any other people, we're gonna run it by you. We're gonna let you know what our stats are. Yeah, I would feel totally comfortable with that.
Awesome.
Okay, I get that. But what exactly does that mean? like, are you saying that you get the final say, or are you just saying it's got to make sense? Or I don't know. I just kind of want to understand what part of control you're understanding that you would get.
Right.
So that we're both on the same page. I don't want to run into this issue in the future.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with that. I would hate to have to be sitting down here 6 months from now saying, what did we actually decide on? So I'm glad that we're getting this out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you guys have more experience as far as what your history is on subletting with your landlords in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what would you guys say is your percentage of landlords that you've had to, of leases that you've had to sublet?
I mean, it's not too often. It's
like 20%.
It's really low.
It depends on, it's all part of our strategy within the area and the consumer. So based off of what we find out in the first couple months of what consumers want, we might bring in another, we might sublease to another. Sometimes we don't even have to. Sometimes it's just
for example,
we need.
For example, oftentimes our clothes are doing really well, but sometimes our pots and pans and that kind of department doesn't do that well. So we'll shut that area down in a location and sublease it out to another company. But it doesn't happen all that often.
Awesome.
Maybe we could come up with a process of how we would present that to you, and then how that discussion would go. I think it would be a negotiation, just like we are doing today, as far as showing our interest with this subleased company. Like I said, how it would benefit, and then how it would be a conversation. I feel like.
Okay. Yeah,
if that's comfortable with you, if you're comfortable with that.
Right. Guys, I love hearing the fact that you guys are so flexible with the different markets, because like you guys know, markets can change from one year to the next. What's hot, what's trending is definitely going to be different, maybe even from season to season. So I love hearing that you guys are up on the times. That's fantastic. As far as negotiating on a case-by-case basis, I think that would be fantastic, just so then we can avoid having conflicts with the other satellite tenants. I mean, on the off chance that we get a houseware store right next to you that sells big appliances, and then you guys decide, hey, maybe we'll go into appliances. We'd hate for there to be a conflict for you guys as far as that goes. And so then that would just be an issue of let's sit down, let's figure out what it is that you're wanting to, who it is that you want to let sublet in, and then we figure it out from there.
So kind of more of a general agreement, just to make sure that all companies are going to kind of thrive is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay, that makes sense as long as it's more of like something that we both agree on.
Yeah.
But I'd say like if we bring to you our top company that we would like to sublease to, and you just say no, then maybe you could work with us on finding another company that would do just as good.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And here's the thing with that is, I mean, honestly, you guys are, like I said, you guys are corner stores for a lot of different places. So you guys are already in contact with a lot of these satellite type companies and tenants in there.
Yeah.
We'd love to have a list of those people that have been successful in the same mall as you guys, that work really well, your products complement. We'd love to work with that. That would be fantastic for us. Even before, I mean, if you shoot me an email and say, hey, Jessi, this is who we normally work with, go ahead and reach out to these people. We would find that fantastic, because these are people you guys already work with. And I mean, if they are compatible with working in the Boston area, that's a total go for us. So we'd love to hear that. And then, yeah, in the future, if there's somebody else that you guys decide on, shoot us an email, say, hey, this is who we're looking at. We can do some research on them, make sure that it's credible, and then move forward from there. I mean, are you guys comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so just to get the words down, I have like, we can sublease at any time, but we need to have like a general agreement that all the companies are going to thrive. Does that kind of make sense?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
General agreement, companies will thrive. Got it.
Awesome. So honestly, that was one of our concerns. And then let's just go ahead and put something down for the assignee and assigning, just so that we're all on the same page with that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you guys are able to sublet, then you should be able to invite anyone that you need to and that is credible into your space. Our main concern with the assignee is that it's a liability for you guys too, because you're still legally liable for them, even though you guys are the ones with the space. They have their thing in there, and they're the ones taking care of even the storefront.
Yeah. I think we could put in the contract that we won't even have an assignee.
Yeah.
Within I doubt things will change in however many years we do it, but we're not very comfortable with having someone take over our storefront. We really like to have that type of control.
That's awesome.
All right. Another thing is like, so we're putting in no assignees for this contract, but how long is this contract going to be? Because I liked all of the prices and all the finances part, and I liked how currently we have it for 25 years. But maybe we want to change one of these things, or you'd like to change one of these things in 10 years. So I was thinking maybe more along the line of 10 years with after every 10 years, we can reevaluate the contract and make sure that everything's in each other's best interests.
Especially with just economically changing, and we can make sure that that's all aligned with what's going on with trends and stuff like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
And like I said, we appreciate the fact that here's our only concern with financing. We need you guys in here for at least 12 to 15 years as far as part of the contract, just so then the people financing it know that you guys aren't here just to check it out for a little while, and if it doesn't work out, you're out. You know what I mean? They want you guys invested enough to make those changes to make sure that you're going to be profitable, and we know that you guys are going to do that already. So if we can put it at, say, a 12-year contract, how would you guys feel about that?
That's good. That is really good. How would you feel if your guys' finance, whoever you guys are doing your financing, talk to one of our other financing, just to get like almost just like to see our credibility as far as, they stick around for a while, or I can give them our like history for that 10 years. We've signed 10-year contracts with probably, we have over 200 locations. We probably signed a 10-year contract with every single one of them, and we've been there for more than 10 years. I don't even think we've moved from those contracts. Yeah. So we definitely, it really is just a matter of comfortableness as far as we have the flexibility to change these things if we need to.
Yeah.
and we obviously have already established that we could do that with the
Right.
economic changes. Would you be able to, do you think your financing would be able to go down to 10 years? Or if not, we could even refer you to one of our other financing if you would be open to that.
Great. I love how open-minded you guys are with all this. It's just made negotiating with you guys so much easier, honestly. Yeah, like I said, we're kind of at the final stages with financing. I mean, we're at the spot where we could get you guys moved in like in a week or two. Like, we're ready to see this happen, and I know the people around here are super excited. Obviously, like you guys said, you guys have been around for a while, and normally once you get into a spot, it's a go. People love it. They love the pricing. You guys are doing awesome advertising. I mean, how confident are you, I would say, from like a level of not being confident at all to being probably absolutely confident? How confident are you guys that you'll be here for at least the next 20 years?
Very confident.
Yeah. Even I'd like to be here for 30 years or longer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We love hearing that.
Yeah.
And I mean, with that confidence level, I mean, is it going to be a problem for you guys just to add 2 more years onto that lease of saying, yeah, you know what, 12 years, we'll commit to that?
I think the only issue is I think that maybe we could put a pause on the length of the contract and try to figure out some of the other things that we're still at an impasse at, like with the if we want to add in some of the hard goods, because depending on that, I think
That has a big play.
I think
in
the 12 years would be just fine.
Okay.
But so yeah, let's just start talking about that and see, because that's my only thing is I just don't know all of the contingencies on the 12-year contract.
Sure. So you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable saying, okay, I'm committing to this much time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to just finalize that right now.
Honestly, you shouldn't feel comfortable even with a 10-year contract if you don't know,
Right.
what we're dealing with there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool. I mean, as far as that goes, I feel like this kind of leads in a little bit with the subletting. Just as far as we just want to know what products are going on and want to make sure that that's not going to conflict with your other tenants. So, I mean, this kind of goes along with you guys already have people that you've worked with in strip malls before. If we're dealing with those same kind of people and they're already used to the products you guys do and used to that flexibility and I mean, if you guys are going to start selling something, then we just have a talk about it. Say, okay, hey, we're thinking about introducing a new product into the store that's a hard good.
Mm-hmm.
And we check out with all the other tenants and it's not going to be a huge conflict of interest. We'd love to have that come in.
Okay. But if it is a conflict of interest, then we wouldn't be able to bring it in.
I think
Is that what you're saying?
not necessarily. It would definitely just have to be a case-by-case basis where we say, okay, you guys are selling this specific product of housewares and the neighbors are selling a different kind, but they're going to complement each other. Then it's a go. So honestly, that's kind of hard to tell just because, I mean, us sitting here, we may not know what products you guys are going to want to be selling here in 5 years or 10 years. So if you guys are okay with doing that on a case-by-case basis and just figuring it out, I mean, kind of in the same method, you guys shoot me an email, say, hey, this is what we're looking at. We set up a meeting with you, myself, and the other tenants that potentially could have a conflict, and we work it out.
Okay. Let me give you a scenario. So let's say there's another company that sells washing machines, and they're kind of a smaller company, but we have opened up, or let's say that we've opened up washing machines in another location that has all the data supporting it that we want to push it out nationwide. But then let's say that your tenant that also sells washing machines, they still have 9 years to go on their lease, and they have a non-competing contract with you. That's just the situation that I don't want to run into. Does that make sense?
Right. So it affects our overall nationwide strategy.
Right.
Which we, as a company, are core on as far as innovation and flexibility. That's why we succeed so well within our other stores.
For sure. So what kind of ideas or thoughts do you have on that? I just, I love how open you are to talk about all of these things. I just kind of want to get down to the nitty-gritty
Sure.
in case situations like this come up, I don't want to be too, I don't know, aggressive
Right.
in these kind of situations.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would just say, I would just have to ask, I mean, have these situations come up fairly frequently for you guys?
Yeah, in the past.
They've come up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that typically with these sort of product lines that you're just trying for a short period of time and then taking out, or?
No, usually we're introducing it for good
Okay.
because we have the data to support it. Sometimes it depends on if we're piloting it in a specific location though.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I mean, how frequently do you guys introduce new products like this, would you say? Is it like once every 5 years, 3 times a year?
It depends. We try to roll out at least, I mean, we try to pilot a new product once a year. Whether or not that product is successful in its piloting processes depends whether or not we let it out to nationwide. So, I mean, maybe three years, but we definitely pilot at least once a year. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know, maybe once every 3 years we'll put one of those things out nationwide.
Awesome. So let me just, because what I'm hearing basically is just you guys want to have that flexibility so that if, I mean, nationally or even on, say, the West Coast or whatever, you guys decide, hey, we want to introduce this new line. You don't have to deal with a bunch of issues as far as the other tenants in that particular strip mall.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, we just need to make sure that there wouldn't be, that you're not signing any non-compete clauses or contracts with other tenants on a product that we would eventually roll out or possibly roll out. Does that make sense?
Right.
So I guess there are 2 ways that we've handled it in the past.
Okay,
One way
great.
is that you could just not sign any competing contracts with these companies on any hard goods products. Sorry, I'm like stumbling over my words. But so that's one way that you could do it. Or another way is that you shorten the lease agreements with those hard good tenants.
Right.
So like by 5 years, for example.
Okay. And so typically in the past with other tenants, have you guys, I mean, have these other stores been okay with signing non-compete contracts? I mean, other satellite stores that are sharing the strip mall with you?
Yeah.
Some of them are, some of them aren't. I think the ones that are actually succeed more because it's more of a matter of perspective. You can, I mean, to me, if another company is selling washing machines and I want to sell washing machines, it's kind of like they're doing some free advertising for me because now I'm going to show them that I'm selling washing machines too, and so they're going to want to come over to my store to check out the prices as well. Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you guys haven't had a whole lot of issues with this in the past then, as far as the other satellite tenants having severe issues?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, it depends on strip mall. It depends on the other tenants. Some have some similar products. Some are very different. It really depends on the other tenants. Yes, we have had some issues for sure
In the past.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that you're not going to have issues here as far as it goes. Obviously, we're going to try and correlate with as many previous satellite people that you guys already have connections with that are going to mesh the best. But obviously, that's not something that I can completely guarantee as far as you guys never having an issue there. Like I said, I think if you guys are confident that the products that you're selling are going to bring more foot trafficking, then it's probably going to be a go for them as well. They're wanting those people there. You guys are doing the advertising. But again, I feel like because of that confidence level that you guys have, we just have to kind of do it case by case because every situation would be different.
And when we have succeeded in the past, those landlords have told those tenants beforehand that, I mean, those tenants want to be in that strip mall because we are there.
Right.
They know that they'll get the foot traffic. Most of the time, they don't sell conflicting products, or they kind of sell similar ones because they know, oh, they're interested in that type of store. Maybe they'll come to us too. Kind of like you said,
Right.
we advertise for them. It's similar. But most of those tenants know going into that contract that discount is already there. Therefore, we have to make sure that, they're putting themselves in that situation. They're going to sell the same exact product, and that sucks for them or sucks for us.
Exactly.
Been a problem in the past, but most of the time that's a problem just because they put themselves in that situation, knowing that we're already going to be there, and it didn't end up benefiting them as much as it should have.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. That's just kind of what my words.
And so I think I would have. I don't feel comfortable just handling it as a case-by-case basis. I would like to just know that there's something solid that we can fall back on, a simple process that we can figure out. And so, did you like any of those two ideas that I presented at first, which was to either don't sign a non-compete with those tenants on their hard good products, or to just sign shorter lease agreements by either like 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I especially like the second idea. I think it could be something that would be really beneficial with the companies that I think are already looking sort of at the spaces, just to be able to, if we could just go ahead and maybe sign even like a 15-year contract with you guys so that they know, okay, discount is here. We can rely on them being here, and so we're going to be okay signing just a 5-year contract. Would you guys be okay with that?
Yeah.
Do that.
And I think that it doesn't matter which way that you go with those companies. If you want to sign a non-compete with them and then maybe do, or like not sign a non-compete with them and then do a longer contract with them, I think we'd be fine with that. Or you could sign a shorter contract with them and have a non-compete. Yeah.
I
So
think
you guys would be okay with either two of those solutions?
I think so.
Okay.
And primarily, especially since we're being the anchor store, they'll know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are the heart of the project here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely, if you guys are happy, we're happy, and I think the tenants will be happy.
Okay.
Great.
So either sign one of those two things. Okay. And then the length of contract, you were saying that you're giving us all of these things. You want at least 15 years.
Is that
I
a
think
reasonable
that's
amount
fair.
of time to ask?
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Awesome.
Okay, and then we'll reevaluate at that point and call it good.
Okay. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Okay. Good to meet you guys. Thank you.
Jessi. Yeah, it's your computer.
My husband called me 4 times.
Yeah, I got 2 phone calls too.
I was like, oh.